Everyone, welcome to an improv tip, and this is like my fifth take. I'm gonna roll with this one no matter what comes out of my mouth, so here it is. So I get there's so many benefits to improv training, like I get all that, it's one of the things that keeps driving me to do it because I get that it helps with memory and attention and focus and listening, communication, empathy, just so many great things. But I struggle with scene work, and I know the guys that I train with and all that kind of coming through. We're kind of looking for that white whale, so to speak, of how do we go in and consistently do good scene work that is entertaining to an audience, and how and we feel it. It seems like a pretty rare occurrence for me, and which is one of the other reasons I think we all keep training. So today's we're talking about vulnerability and bringing vulnerability to the stage. And if anyone was at the Grind last night at the West Side Comedy Theater, these guys, the owners of the theater, they put on a great show every week. They're fantastic improvisers. They've been performing together and rehearsing for 15 years or more, and they put on a great show. One of the owners is moving out of the state, so this was his final show for however long that'll be. And so it was a great show, but really the most powerful moment was after the show when this guy that's leaving was talking about how meaningful this bond that he had with these guys, with this team he's been performing with, and how special and how meaningful. And you could feel it throughout the theater. It was a wonderful thing. And I thought, this is what we're going for. This is what we're trying to replicate on stage as we're performing. We're trying to get not only feeling that authentic connection ourselves, but the audience picks up on that as well. So when this guy was talking after the show about how much his team meant to him, we all felt it, and it was a really special, warm feeling inside. So I think vulnerability is hard. I think that we all protect ourselves from being vulnerable because even in real life I struggle to be vulnerable in some of my closest relationships because I might not want to look weak, or I might not want to be humiliated or look shameful or look stupid. So I've got my guard up in my real life, and I think it's even more difficult on stage to have this vulnerability come out. I mean, it's vulnerable enough going up on stage in front of an audience. There's vulnerability and courage in that, but a lot of times, I'll make that huge bold step, and then I'll go on and do a scene that has no meaning or true emotion or connection, and it's like it feels flat inside, and I know it went flat to the audience. So then, I guess my tip on vulnerability is to think about the things that we're vulnerable in our real life, and how can we infuse that into an improv scene. And I had two thoughts that came to mind. One, if I'm in a relationship scene, I might have fear about getting into a relationship because of how it can go sideways, or how I might have my heart broken again, and how I don't want to go down that path and expose my truths and who I really am to this person. Like, I just can't deal with it. That's one way of doing it. I also thought about, if you're in a scene where you end up in an office, you're in like kind of a working environment, and you might be thinking there's layoffs coming, or perhaps there's performance reviews. And in real life, when we've got performance reviews, when we're being judged, I don't care what it is, we tend to get very uptight, and we're quite emotive about our feeling state about being judged and taking criticism. So I think these are all the things that we want to bring to the stage, and if we can bring those authentic feelings and then infuse it into an improv scene, we are well on our way to doing some great work. So hope that helps, and we'll catch you next week.